we know that we are discussing about shares. So in our last class, we have discussed about what is actually a share is and what are the basic concepts revolved around the concept of shares. So we have already discussed that particular element in our last class. Apart from that, when we are talking about valuation of shares, so why actually valuation of shares, what is the value of shares, all that particular points we have discussed already. Moreover, we have also discussed about different types of value of shares. So we have book value, we have par value, we have quoted value, market value. So all these types of different types of value of shares which is used in the market. So those concepts we have discussed also. Apart from that, we have discussed about the need for valuation of shares. So why the valuation of share is important in our business world, or why we need to evaluate the value attached with a share. We have discussed that particular element also. So in today's class, we are going to discuss further on the topic valuation of shares. So today we are going to look over what are the different methods of valuation of shares. Now, whenever we are saying valuation of shares, so we primarily understand that there are two types of shares. One is equity shares, other one is preference shares. So in that context, obviously the valuation of shares for equity share is different and the valuation method for preference share is slightly different. So we have to understand that how we are going to evaluate the cost or the value attached with the equity shares and the cost or the value attached with the preference shares. So to start with, we will basically look over the valuation of equity shares at the first. Now, when we are saying the valuation of equity shares, there are primarily three methods of valuation of equity shares. So those are intrinsic value method, which is also called as net asset method or asset backing method. Next one is yield method or capitalization of profit method, and the third one is fair value method or hybrid method. So primarily in order to value the shares or value an equity shares, we used to use these three different types of method of valuation of equity shares. Now the very first one, what is intrinsic value method? So as the term intrinsic value itself talks about, that it talks about the value which is attached with the assets of the company. So this method is therefore also known as asset backing method or net asset method, real value method, balance sheet method or breakup value method. So under this method, what we used to do, we used to estimate the net asset, and after calculating the net asset of the company or the firm, we divide it with the total number of equity shares of the company or the total number of equity shares issued by the company. So what do we mean by the net asset? The net asset of the company, which means basically it includes all goodwill and non-trading assets, and we will have all kinds of assets here, and we will divide it with the number of shares issued in order to get the value of each share. Now there are certain exclusions and inclusions in this terminology. So when we are saying net asset, it means the total value of realizable assets less outside liabilities. So that means we are going to include only those assets which are realizable in real terms. So but again, when we are saying net asset, exclude out the third party liabilities or outside liabilities from the calculation. So net assets means share capital plus reserves and surplus on revaluation minus loss on revaluation. So realizable value of asset means the value which can be realized from the market if assets are placed for sale. So when we are going to calculate net asset, we will try to estimate the value of the asset based on the price which we will derive if we put that particular asset on sale in the market. So what value we will realize by selling that particular asset in the market, we are going to take that value for calculation of net assets. Now outstanding share again here means the number of shares issued and subscribed by the public. So as we know that there are different categories of shares, so here we are basically talking about the shares which is issued and subscribed by the public. Now there are certain points which we must consider when we are talking about valuation of uh, shares. So if the asset market value of the asset is given, then that same has to be considered. In the absence of such information, the book value of the asset shall be taken as the market value. So here there are 2 points. One is market value and the book value. So if market value is given, then we are going to consider market value for the calculation of assets. But if market value is not given while calculating the net assets, then we will take the book value as the market value of the asset. And when we are going to arrive at the net assets, we are going to exclude all kinds of fictitious assets like preliminary expenses, the debit balance of profit and loss account, like that. So those items does not have any realizable element in the market. So that's why such kind of items which are preliminary expenses or debit balance of profit and loss account, so such items are not going to be taken into consideration when we are going to estimate the net assets of the company or net assets of the business. Now, apart from that, when we are talking about the liabilities, here means the liabilities which is payable to third parties. And while calculating the total assets of the firm, while calculating the net assets of the firm, we are again going to exclude the preference shareholders from that. So preference shareholders are not going to be the part of these calculations when we are talking about the net assets. Uh, Apart from that, any fund which is again associated or linked with equity shareholders, then those funds should be the part of the valuation of net assets. That means when we are going to calculate the value of net assets, we will try to determine that whether a fund is associated with the equity shareholders or not. If we find that the fund is associated with the equity shareholders, then we are going to take that particular item or that type of fund or reserve into consideration. But if we notice that such fund is not associated with equity shareholders, it is not going to benefit the equity shareholders, then we are going to exclude such funds while calculating the net assets of the firm. Now, this particular method is useful in various ways. So this method can be very much used at the time of liquidation of a firm or liquidation of a company. So when a firm gets liquidated, at that time, everyone would like to know about that what will be the value of a share. For that method, for that intrinsic value method is fairly useful. Further, uh, through this method we can actually come to know about the real value of the business or real value of the company or real worth of the company, because uh, there are various instances where uh, various people or various interested parties, they like to know about the actual position of the business. So whether it is worthy to invest in such kind of business or what is the actual value of the share of that company. So some people who are interested in that business, they like to know such information or they like to have such information. So in that kind of requirement, the method of intrinsic value or the net asset method is very much useful. Moreover, this method is related to the market value of assets. So here, as we know that there is a difference between market value and a book value. So here the value of the business is purely associated with the market value. And moreover, this method could be used to estimate the value of different types of equity shares. So as there may be different categories of equity shares in the business, so we can easily estimate the value of the shares based on the different types and categories of the equity shares. So we have different kind of merits related with the intrinsic value method or net asset. Let us take a problem which is going to help us to understand that how we are going to value of an equity share using intrinsic value method or net asset method. So in this particular problem where the balance sheet of a company XYZ is given, so here the liabilities and asset side is shown. So in the liabilities side we have an item like equity shares, so there is no preference shares here. So only equity shares is given. So equity shares of 20,000 at rupees 10 each. Then we have a reserve, profit and loss account, net current liability, which is unsecured loan. Then current liability 20,000. So the total balance is 5,80,000 on the liability side. Similarly, on the asset side, we have goodwill, investment, other non-current assets, and current assets. And there is again other current assets of rupees 5,000. So here also the total is 5,80,000. Now, apart from this, there is an additional information which is provided, that is the profit of the last 4 years is given, that is 60,000, 70,000, 40,000 and 50,000. And for the purpose of valuation of share, we have to revalue the value of goodwill. So here the method of valuation of goodwill is given that goodwill shall be taken at 2 years purchase of average profit of last 4 years. So that means it is the average profit method, and by using the average profit method, we are going to calculate the value of goodwill. Now, if you look over in this particular problem, a value of goodwill is already there in the balance sheet, 1,90,000. Now, before valuation of shares, it is saying that we have to revalue the value of goodwill. So that means we are going for the revaluation of value of goodwill, and that valuation we will do with the help of average profit method, which we have discussed in our last classes when we were discussing about valuation of goodwill technique. Now, at the very beginning, we will go for the valuation of goodwill. So what will be the value of goodwill uh, at the time of valuation of shares? So here the profit for last 4 years is given 60,000, 70,000, 40,000, 50,000. So total becomes 2,20,000. Now by following the average profit method, as we are going to calculate the goodwill, so the formula will be average profit into number of purchase years. So average profit will be average profit of last 4 years. So that is 2,20,000 divided by 4, and as it is given in the question that we have to calculate for 2 purchase years. So that means 55,000 into 2, that is 1,10,000. Now if you look over in the balance sheet, it was given 1,90,000, but after revaluation or after the valuation of goodwill, it has become 1,10,000. So there is a decline in the value of goodwill at the time of valuation of shares. Now, at the very beginning, after valuation of goodwill, we are going for the next part, that is the valuation of net assets or calculation of net assets. Now, the total assets as given in the balance sheet is 5,80,000. Out of that, we are going to exclude two items. One, goodwill, 1,90,000. We are going to exclude goodwill because the goodwill is revalued. So after revaluation, we are going to take the revalued figure here, and an old figure is going to be written off. So that means goodwill we are going to take out from this particular calculation, and discount on issue of shares, that is non-current assets. So we are going to take out that 10,000. So there are two discount on issue of shares, non-current and current assets, 5,000, 5,000. So we are going to exclude 10,000 rupees. So that means the total assets which is going to be excluded from the total asset is 2 lakhs. So after excluding or after deducting those two items, we will have 3,80,000. Now again we are going to add the value of goodwill, which is a fresh valuation of goodwill, that is 1,10,000. So the total becomes 4,90,000. From here we are going to exclude the third party liabilities, the liabilities which is basically related to third party. So those there are two items. One is unsecured loan, and that is 80,000, and current liabilities of 20,000. So that means 1 lakhs is excluded out, that is third party liabilities. So after deducting those items, we have a net asset of 3,90,000. So the calculation of net assets, we have to look over that we are going to exclude the third party liabilities. We are going to exclude certain items of the asset side like preliminary expenses or any items which is basically not having any value actually in the valuation of shares. Those items we are going to exclude. We are going to exclude preference shareholders if there is, but in this problem there is no preference shareholders, so we are not going to no, we don't have any problem with that. So after doing all those considering all those points, and after looking over all those conditions of valuation of shares, we will come to a figure that is a net assets. So this net assets and number of equity shares will be required in order to calculate the value of a share. So the net assets in this problem comes 3,90,000, and number of equity shares is 20,000. Now once we get this particular figure, net assets and number of equity shares, so we can able to go for the next calculation. So in our next calculation, we will go for the valuation of one equity share. That means how much the value, what is the value of one equity share. So the total net asset is 3,90,000 after doing all the calculations, and number of equity share is given in the problem, that is in the balance sheet, 20,000. So therefore after dividing it, we will get rupees 19.50 per equity shares. That means the value of each equity share is 19 rupees 50 paisa. So that is how we are going to calculate the value of a share. But if you look over the balance sheet, you will find that there it was given 20,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each. So the face value of the share is rupees 10, but the value in the market is now 19 rupees 50 paisa per share. So this is the method which is called as intrinsic value method or net asset method. So through this method, we are going to calculate the net asset, and we are going to take care of the number of equity shares, and after doing those calculations, we can come to a value of one equity share. So let it be for today. We are going to we will look over for more problems in our next class. Thank you.